of Kinesso, and today I'm going to talk about how we are helping our clients make their content work harder through what we call DCO, so dynamic creative optimization. And I think Mike mentioned some example with Netflix, for instance, and real-time data. So for those who don't know, Kinesso is part of the IPG advertising group and is one of the data and tech arms of IPG alongside company like Axiom. And what we do is to provide technology for our clients and solutions to help them be more data-driven in their marketing activities. So it can go through audience definition, identity solution, up to anything related to planning, activation, and anything related to measurement, reporting, and visualization. So in today's example, I'm going to talk to you about one of our platform around the activation, which is called BGenius. So BGenius, it's a platform that enables, what you were seeing on the Netflix example, like those personalization where you can create an infinite number of assets with different images, different type of content, etc. So for this application, we have different applications into the platform, and they are connected to each other. So I'm going to explain to you the way they connect to each other. So before jumping into the use case, so we have a field management application into the platform, and the field management application is about making sure that we are collecting the right data. And this is what I'm going to explain later on. So this is the data that is used to create all the assets, but also to define all the rules on who is going to see what and where, defining your audiences. And I'm going to showcase how the real-time data is critical to enable the platform to optimize and making sure that it's the best performing content, and then we generate the highest return on investment. So we have two types of data. We have batch processing, and going back to what Mike is saying, like real-time data is always better than not real-time data. But in all cases, like sometimes real-time data is not necessary. For instance, we are working with product inventory data, and this data is updated once a day or once a week. So we are just, pulling the data into a batch processing. And then we leverage real-time data when we feed back into the system to make sure that we're optimizing. And the real-time data that we're using is of three different types. So there's all the performance data that we get from the campaign that we're pulling back into the system. So it's enabling us to optimize based on the performance. Then you have any open data that we could use that is relevant for the campaign. So for instance, we might be running a campaign where the content is based on how the weather is, right? So we can connect to open API for the weather and then making sure that we're getting the real-time data. It could be also, and is often the case, that we just connect to real-time data from the client. It could be sales data, booking data, for instance, and we understand real time, how we are generating booking when we're on a campaign, and then adjust, the campaign based on that. So the field management is the first application. We move on, and this is where our API connects to all the systems, so getting the data, connecting to external system, but then enabling the connection across all the different applications into the platform to make the campaign successful. So from our API, we get the data into what we call our creatives builder. And this is something, I don't know if any of you are familiar with the creative process and the marketing, but when you see all the assets into platforms, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of budget, it's a lot of time allocated, it's a lot of creative and designer who are creating different iterations of the process. So it's a huge blocker to be able to create campaigns that are ongoing and then are capable to perform over time. So this technology and this application is enable us to be able to pull the data, but then to pull some of the assets and to create those iterations like you've seen on the Netflix side, changing, the copy, changing the image, changing, based on a templating system. So it's easier to create an infinite number of creative assets for the client to push into digital platforms. So from that, you have a creation of your assets, and then you move on in our third application, which is what we call dynamic advertising. And this is where you are defining who is going to see what, where, and when. And this is pushing all your digital assets based on the data that is collected into what we call demand-side platforms. This is, where you're gonna have your advertising display into Google search or on social channels. And this is where all the rulings happen based on your creative assets. And there's a layer and another application that we call activation triggers into the platform. And this application is to give still power to the marketer. So when this data is pulled, the creative are, like all the assets are created, there's an automation that comes into place that is enabled by the real-time data. But then the activation triggers is a layer that gives still power to marketer. So let's assume that a client runs a campaign, but they have done research showing that, for the people, they don't necessarily look at their social channels between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. So the client will enter a rule that will overrule like the automation because they just don't want to spend money during this time. So it's still giving like some power to the users to make sure that, it's not just the data deciding over who is going to see what and when. There's still like a component and an easy user-friendly application that is enabling the user to put any kind of rules that will make sense for the brand and the application. So, and all of that will go into the social channels, and you will see the similar iteration of, different people who see different things based on what is relevant for them, which is like making sure you are providing personalized recommendation for the users. So Kafka was mentioned, so we leverage Kafka, for instance, and Kafka in simple way is really enabling us to connect, the right data signal to the right event across the different platform that we pull in. So I just explained the mechanism and how it works across the platform and the different application. Now it's going to make more sense when I'm going to talk to you about like a tangible example. So, and I'm going to talk to you about our client Pate. I'm not sure you know Pate because it does not exist in the UK, but maybe some of you are coming from Europe and other countries. So Pate is a well-known French entertainment company, and they have cinemas all across Europe. So, and this specific case is for the Netherlands. It's moving on its own, sorry guys, so I'm just gonna go back a little bit. And in the Netherlands, they have 29 cinemas. And for the 29 cinemas, they are running 650 movie titles a year. So if you think about it, like you have 29 locations, you have, you need to provide content for 650 movies a year for most of the location. It is a lot of, content, a lot of campaign that you need to run. And as a business, the challenge that you might get is like, you need to make sure that your marketing effort is working for your business, but also like you need to make sure that you driving the traffic and the conversion and making sure you're booking, but also you're not overwhelming the people. You have to be relevant for the people. So the solution was to create an always on campaign for the client to make sure that we are relevant for the moviegoers, but also that we are providing the right recommendation, but also I'm so sorry, I don't know why it's keeping moving around without me, and driving traffic and conversion. So, but there's a challenge on that, and the challenge is the fact that, as I said earlier, imagine the 650 movie title, the 26 location, right? If you have to go to a creative agency and you have to ask them, hey, I need like, thousands and thousands, like, I don't know, maybe 1 million iteration of the creatives to go into the different platform for the different audiences, like it's gonna take a year for a team to build that. You will need like 100 people, it's gonna cost a lot of money. And most of the time, it's just a barrier. People don't do that because it costs too much money. So they're not going to create this level of personalization that you could see on the Netflix. And Netflix can do it because they use personalized data. Like you got access to the system, they got access to all your interaction into the platform. In the case of advertising, it's not that we are using to be able to do that. So then there's the blocker, obviously, of the content creation and management. And then also on the budget, which is gonna cost you lots of money. there's the creative and the assets that you are creating that will cost you lots of money. But then there's also like the media you're spending. Like every pound that you're spending in different platform has to have the highest return on investment. So when you run an always-on campaign and you blinded because you don't really know how it's performing, for instance, or you keep pushing for content for instance, let's say a movie that is already fully booked. What's the point, right? You're spending money on the West, and this is not the purpose of it. It's like how we can be more sustainable in the way we're approaching media and marketing. And finally, like I know that for some people, they feel like, hey, we are bombarded, brands are spending so much money into media, which is true, but they also don't want to create audience fatigue. They don't want to bother the people. In fact, they want to be relevant for the people. And how you can create a campaign that is always on, but still create this relevancy for the people, which is a big barrier to be able to do that. And I'm going to show you how real-time data is overcoming those challenges. Not only the platform, but the real-time data that we feed into the platform. So there's two data that we fed in the feed management application. So what we needed to know is the location of the cinema, and we needed to know the movie schedule. Simple. So this data will help us, define the different creative assets, how we're going to create them, and then being able to create an infinite number of creative assets. So literally, like, you can go on and on. All the barrier around the budget, resource allocation does not exist here because you're going to leverage data and technology to be able to do that. But then what we do is we are capable to use this data into our field management, and then it moves down into our other applications. So in the case of Pate, we had 3 simple audiences. Like, it was about the frequency of the people on how often they go to the cinema. And then we divided based on their frequency, and then we could, through our technology, create iterations based on the content movies of the different assets going to the platform. We define the rules, and then all of that will then be pulled into the DSPs and will be visible into the platform. But what is interesting here is, like, you need to be able to optimize that. And to optimize that, we needed real-time data. So we need to be able first to get the performance real-time, because you will only push and making sure that you're pushing something that works. If it's something that doesn't work, you're not going to spend media on it, right? So the idea was like looking at the performance data that will feed back into the system and making sure that based on the performance of the data, we will see like the adjustment of the creative and what is displayed to who and on which platform. But it wasn't only that. We were connecting directly to the booking system of a client. So let's say that, this year was when Avatar launched, and it was a very successful movie. And by consequence, the content was very successful on social. So we keep seeing that the performance was working well. So the system was pushing Avatar, in most of the platform because it was working well. But also at the same time, most of the cinema were fully booked. So you keep pushing on something where the cinema doesn't have any seats for it. So what's the point for a brand to be able to push that? But because we got access to the data of a client real time, we could adjust. So therefore, the system will stop pushing Avatar and will push the next content that is the best performing, because we already know there's no seats available in this location and this location. And it was critical for the success of this campaign because it's really across all the journey and the process of the marketing creation, but we could optimize and making sure that we're generating the highest revenue, but also the most engagement across the people. So it's quite successful, and the clients still do it. Across all the movie selection, so one thing that I was saying is like it costs a lot of money if you have to do that and you don't have a technology and you can't leverage real-time data. So if you have to create all of that, and when we were working with a client, we saw that it was degrees of 70% in the cost of creative, which is huge for a client to be able to do that. The second one, matrix, it's what we call a cost per action matrix. So it's a matrix that we are using to understand the engagement and the relevance. So this matrix will define how much it costs you to generate someone to interact with your communication and your campaign. The higher it is and the less engaging it is and the less relevant you are. And in the case of Pate, we decreased by 81% this cost per action. The third metric is also an engagement metric, is what we call a search engine advertising bounce rate. So literally is, how when you're driving someone to your website through paid search, are they leaving the website without doing any actions? Because again, it's showing you literally not relevant. You are putting in front of them advertising that doesn't make sense to them, because even if, let's say, they click on it, they end up in the web, but they're not going to do anything. So you have to make sure that is the lowest as possible. And in the case of Pate, we reduced that by 45%. So all of that are engagement metrics showing that you're sustaining a brand position across, your advertising that makes sense, and you're not overwhelming the people, and you're not, creating some audience fatigue in what you're doing. But also there's the revenue, right? So, and in the case of Pate, that year they generated 258 million euros of revenue, so which is like 20% more. So it was in 2022. 2021 was still COVID, so I didn't use 2021 as a comparison, but when we look at before COVID, it was 20% increase in their revenue. So, and this is showing how, like the technology obviously is an enabler, but the real-time data is what makes the difference to be able to generate the optimization across all the full journey. That's it. Do you have any question? Yeah.
When you say that, give me 1 minute to bring it. Who is the one? Oh yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Hello. Would you say that companies are warming up to the idea of real-time data, or is it still a hard sell to make them use it?
So I think it depends on the type of data into the real-time data. For instance, I'm not going to tell you that I have access to 100% of my data clients. Some clients are just not inclined, regardless of a new technology, the fact that you can, there's secure way to share the data, they're still not inclined for you to connect to their system. So in this aspect, real-time data is still a struggle for the client. Even if if I show this case, like the client's going to be, oh my God, I'm going to save so much money. But there's still this barrier because there's the decision maker are people who don't necessarily understand fully the technology. So you're going to have legal who's going to say, no, you're going to connect to the system. So this time of real-time data is a problem. But if I'm telling them, hey, I'm gonna get access to whatever data, they just don't care. So like, okay, you can get access to it, you can do whatever. So they see the value of it, but there's still barrier internally to be able to leverage it.
Thank you. So there's still a market share to be gathered.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't. I thought you wanted to. You have a question?
I do. I was wondering how much that is changing. In my experience of senior execs, they've drunk the Kool-Aid. I mean, I've been in conversations where the senior executives are demanding that some AI or data science happening, and the technical people are going, is that changing at a good enough rate? Are we dealing with a problem that's solving itself?
Yeah, I think, if you look at the CEO, for instance, or the CMOs or the C-suite levels, yeah, they understand that there's an imperative to make sure that you're at the forefront in terms of technology, like generative AI. I made the people crazy right now.
Oh, yeah.
But they don't understand the implementation, right? They might feel the need that they need it. They might push their team to be able to have it, but you need the use cases, right? And if their teams are not capable to identify those use cases, it's really hard to implement. And again, there's a legal component into it. So legal and IT and all of that comes into place. It's really hard to implement.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions?
Last one.
Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, thank you very much for that. It was very insightful. I was just asking a question of the scale of what you're doing. How many messages, how many adverts do you serve to the end consumers in a given period of time?
I don't have a tangible number to give you because it would depend of the clients and the company we're running. But I think for Pate, it's an always-on campaign. It's always running all the time. So I think over a year is probably we're talking about small millions of campaigns that are running live for a client on the digital platforms, because it's the purpose of the always on, making sure that you're always out there and pushing the right content for the people to drive traffic to the locations and the cinemas.
Thank you.